We're reacting to Girls of the Year swimsuit edition. I'm just kidding, not the swimsuit edition. No, VCHA. VCHA. I think that's how it's pronounced. VCHA.
VCHA.
VCHA. Hey, girl. Who let the Asian in here?
Oh my gosh.
That's what they were saying. They're like, go away, you're not our friend.
Ascribing racism to the group of mostly Asian women.
Who's that girl we haven't met? Oh, she's glowing, dripping confidence. Oh yeah, used to live life on the fence, but I've been working hard, now my heart's beating different. Get a little closer, a taste of it. Level up my energy, gonna get my destiny. Revving up the motor, I'm burning it. I can't get enough, I'm never gonna not go for it. All my inhibitions gone, I've been waiting way too long. No, the mirror don't tell me lies. Now I'm feeling so free, baby, tonight.
I really like how good these girls are at hitting the... When I say hitting the lines, I'm talking choreography speak, where there are very specific lines that you are trying to draw with the multiple bodies, and they're doing a very good job of hitting them very well. You'll notice if you watch any group like competitive ballroom dance, you can tell who's been practicing and training a lot and who's been
Showing up to practice.
Based on how well the team is hitting the lines. Diagonally, it's got to be perfectly straight. Everyone's got to be hitting their beats at the exact same time. They're doing that very, very well. I'm sure they had a lot of takes. This is a recorded video.
Yeah.
But they're nailing it. You'll notice even in some of the top tier K-pop, there will be a member or two who are a little off on their timing. These have not been that. These have all been dead on in the timing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. The dancing is the number one thing that's standing out to me. That and the Caucasians.
What? Are there any of those in here?
Yeah. That girl's Caucasian, the one bending over. And then the other girl was like something else.
Okay.
You know? There's only like 3 Asian girls here.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but their dancing is really, really good. And their vocals are on par, of course, like with this type of music. But their dancing is like, boom. It makes me want to dance. It makes me want to be like, dude, it's time to level up them skills.
The lyrics made me think of anyone who's trying to achieve anything as a teenager, where you feel as an adult a good amount of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
As a teenager, it's so severe though. You're still dealing with like all the hormones and self-doubt that come with being a teenager. And then if you're trying to really accomplish something like any of these idol bands are doing, or really any of these idol bands or boy bands that are coming out of Korea, they're coming out so young that they've got to deal with this a lot. And it's kind of this, I guess I just have to let go and just put myself out there. Despite what I may think or other people may think, I just have to put myself out there and let go of the inhibitions. It made me think of Jimin from BTS because he's so reserved. He's such a shy person. You watch him in the interviews and he doesn't want to be there talking. Like he just wants to go be comfortable by himself.
That was more like Gollum though. You know, you're like,
not Gollum. No, it's just the inside introvert. I'm not going for Gollum. I'm sorry. But he hits such beautiful high notes. Imagine Gollum. Wow. Sorry, that was a wild tangent.
Okay.
But no, I can imagine him having a very much this same moment, despite not being a girl, and they're all singing about the female experience here, right? But you would have that experience where it's like, I have to just kind of let go of my shyness and just put myself out here if I ever want to succeed. And they're doing a good job.
Now I'm feeling so free, baby, tonight, like I dream. Oh, I bet you never thought you'd see Girls of the Year, yeah, that's we. Something that you never thought we'd be. Feel like Girls of the Year. Dressing up like dynamite, you're like Girl of the Year tonight. Girls of the Year. I wanna thank myself for the way that I turned it up. I never let me down, not that easy. Revving up the motor, I'm burning
I really like the curly-haired girl's voice a lot.
I have not been paying enough attention to the different vocals to know which
Yeah.
one that is.
They're-
I thought they've all sounded nice.
Yes, they all sound great, and they all have different, unique voices. But I just really like her voice. It just sounds nice. It sounds real. It sounds just. It has a little more of a less of an idol sound to it, and more of like a person sound to it. I think is what I like about it. But it just sounds very real, very robust, and just very nice. I don't know anybody's names, but I liked her voice a lot.
Yeah, this song,
And one of the girls looks like the iCarly girl. Did you notice that?
Miranda Cosgrove, I didn't.
Yeah.
This song is self-congratulatory, sure, but
Well
I don't
deserved
mind
in
that.
a way.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
like it feels
well earned. Let's say.
Yes, it feels like
Yeah.
when you and someone you've spent a lot of time working with have achieved something together, and you're having that conversation, like, look what we've pulled off.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that.
I wouldn't know anything about that. We've never had this conversation.
But I will say this is actually really interesting because I've been thinking about this like yesterday and the day before and today. This concept of like what my future self would say about what I'm doing. Like what would my future self like looking back be like, oh, you know, I'm really proud of this. I'm really grateful that I did this at this time and I really regret this, you know? And then thinking like, how can I figure out what that is? And then I look back and say, okay, let's look 5 years in the past. What am I really proud of and grateful that I did then? And what do I wish I hadn't done or quit doing, you know? And then I can kind of extrapolate that and be like, all right, what am I doing right now? Because now's the time period I can change, you know, before those other things and after the past, right? So I'm like, okay, like if I know the things that I would be grateful for doing and proud of doing and regretful of doing, how do I format myself to do those things and make those changes now
Make that change.
before thank you before 5 years later and then feeling that I didn't actually influence that. And this I think is really great because it reminds me of that in the sense of like they had to work for all of this, you know.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh yeah, they just got the gift, they just got the contract. No, they had to work for this. You don't just automatically dance like that or sing like that. It doesn't happen. Like you can try, you can sing okay, you can dance okay, but not like that. And so they earned it and they worked for it. And they're like looking back like, hey, look what we did. You know, we came all this way. And I really like, and this is kind of from the first thing, I didn't mention it before, but in the opening scene where they're doing the dancing and stuff, you have like one of the girls, or maybe even a couple of them, being like, what am I doing? Like this sense of like they're learning the dance in that scene, because that's what it was. That was like, that was dance practice, and then you have dance performance. And they actually played that out. Did you notice that? So one of the girls was like, at least one of them, was kind of like looking at the other girl and kind of like a little slower in her movements. You could tell that she was trained in dancing and trying to look like she doesn't know what she's doing, which is, that's like almost harder than doing it right.
Yes.
And, but they did that. And I thought that was actually quite impressive. But when you look at it in this kind of full continuum type of way, like past, present, future, and here they are like in this celebratory, like in this, we did it, we're like, boom.
We've arrived.
And they're looking back, you can see, I'm proud of the choices that I made. That was hard. There were sacrifices, but I'm proud of those choices that I made. And I think that for all of us, when we do that and take the time to do that, there are going to be choices that we're proud. It's a mix, right? There are things we're proud of. There are things that we probably regret. There are things we're grateful for. But I think that as we ponder on that, then we have a little more incentive, if you will, to make a change, to do the things, to be like, all right, so that 5 years later we can look back and be like, yes, I'm so glad that I did that. You know, whether it's something like this where you want to be on stage, you know, you want to learn how to sing, you want to learn how to dance, or whether it's something completely unrelated, we can do that. But speaking of singing and dancing, we have a special discount code for you guys to learn how to sing like these girls through Singing Ignition. It's this super affordable, super amazing program that I actually use myself. I've been using it for months. It has been life-changing for me. I told Chase a few months after, I was like, dude, this was one of the best money spending choices I have ever made in my life. It's expanded my range. It's helped my tone. It's helped a bunch of different things. And every single time so the way it works, let me give you a little juice here. So you do a little vocal test, and then the teacher gives you a program, and you do that program for a while, and then you test again, and he gives you the next program that you need. So it's super customized, which is awesome because everybody's voice is different. Like Chase and my voice, they're different, and the way that we sing is different. And so you get this custom thing, and every time I personally get a new custom class, I make huge leaps and bounds. And that's one of the things about having this custom class. But I only pay like $25 a month, which is awesome.
Yeah, so you can get 50% off your first month down there in the description. And Remington has actually been having these conversations well before we ever had any conversations with Singing Ignition. We reached out to them because we thought their program was so good that we wanted to be able to share it with you guys.
Like, I love the vocals of these bands that we listen to. And you guys do too. And the thing is, like, it doesn't have to be just somebody we watch from a distance. Like, you can learn to sing. You can learn to dance. And that's one way that you can do it. So I hope that helps. Let's get back to it. Let's all work toward our stage.
Cutting back into working towards your stage, I did ballroom dance in high school, and the majority of the time we were dancing in a gym. And if you notice at the beginning of the song, they're dancing in a room with a mirror, one of the traditional dance studio rooms. There was one of those that we got to use occasionally. We had so many people in our dance team that we usually didn't fit. But standing in front of a mirror and being able to see the motions you're making, so helpful. Yes. So helpful. Even when I'm at the gym to this day, I will always stand where I can see myself in the mirror to make sure I have got the correct form and I'm not going to injure myself at the gym. Yeah. Important.
One of my martial arts teachers is installing 2 8-foot mirrors in our dojo too. So yeah, helpful. Absolutely. Absolutely important. Being able to see what you're doing makes a huge difference.
Like a dream, oh, I bet you never thought you'd see girls of the year. Yeah, that's sweet. Something that you never thought would be. Feel like girls of the year. Sweet like dynamite. Feel like girl of the year tonight. Girls of the year. Yeah.
Those harmonies were beautiful.
Yeah.
They were matching those notes together so nicely.
I think I'm liking this group more and more as the song goes on. Yeah. And I do really, really like this theme because it doesn't matter how old you are. Like you can learn to do the things that you want to do, and you can do the thing now to look back. And it's awesome. I like that line, like the place you never thought we'd be.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, man, you can go so many places. Okay.
I know that feeling so well.
The last 10 or so seconds of this song, last maybe 15 seconds of this song, I feel like just encapsulated all of it so beautifully. First of all, the song started, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, good dancing. This is nice. As it's gone on, I'm like, I might have to turn this into one of my own like personal motivational songs and like listen to it frequently.
It's really
which is weird
great.
because it's not usually like my cup of tea, like to just like I'm like working out like dressing up like dynamite. You know.
There's an entire like group of TikTok gym goers though who are listening to like bubblegum K-pop at the gym. Oh, girls of the year.
But the thing that was really awesome is they have the girl from the band, but she's standing out in the crowd. And what that shows you is like they're the same, they're normal people, you know, like they're just people who put in the time and like didn't give up and just kept going until they got there. And just like you can be standing and watching, like they were also at some point just standing and watching too. Mm-hmm. And then they hit the studio, they hit the gym. And then after, like, I loved the end, the last like 3 seconds where they're all like, yeah.
That's the part where I said, I know that feeling so well. When you have worked so hard at something, you're so tired, but especially like in ballroom though. You're exhausted. At the end of a performance, you've been dancing for an hour straight. And in between songs, you're not taking risks. You run off stage and you have buddies of yours who are stripping your clothes off and throwing on your next costume. You run back out with a smile on your face. You're exhausted. And you get to the end of the song, you walk off stage and you go, oh.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
that feeling. It's exhausting.
Yes.
But it's so worth it. You've earned that exhaustion.
Yeah, or
that's what's cool about it.
Or at the end of a musical, like if you like do a musical and then just at the end, you know, you bow, you walk off. Okay, that was good.
Time to sleep.
That was good.
Actually, what
Let's
it is
eat.
it's time to reminisce about everything with each other for a little bit and then go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Like, don't talk to me. I really, I was surprised by this song. I was, this is our first time reacting to VCHA. I don't know how to pronounce that. What's the V stand for? I don't know. Anyway, this song, I was impressed. It kind of like, it took me in a crescendo of appreciating the song more and more, which I guess I'm crescendoing that way. So that way would be crescendoing for you guys. But just from the beginning to the end, to where I just, by the end of the song, I'm just like, yes, I'm inspired. And I hope that it inspired you too.
That was a good song. That was a good song.
Anyway, subscribe, please. Thank you.
Go take over the world.
Go find your stage.